for coming. Say what up to the
Inviting
folks.
me. Hello,
Absolutely.
everyone.
I think we're gonna have a fantastic conversation today. So I think this would be a dope conversation for us to have because you were recently proposed to and are currently planning your wedding, which is coming up in a couple of months.
Yeah, it's time.
It's time. It's fast approaching.
As a woman, not everybody pressures a guy to, you know, hey, you need to marry me. Though that's in the back of a woman's head since we were 5 years old. Like, hey, I want to be married. I want the wedding to look like this and that. And, you know, we think about that with every guy we date. But the pressure isn't always on. Sometimes the guys, like, genuinely love you. And they genuinely like, hey, I want to keep her. Because maybe too many men are out for this woman. Like, nah, I need to bag her. Or like she does stuff for them, or they just are very compatible that, hey, I can't see myself without you. But I guess in my case, because I'm pretty sure y'all want to know, like, for me, I don't think that I pressure him. I was more so like, I don't want to say the wrong thing that he feels like pressured into me wanting marriage from him. But we just really had a good time in our relationship. We really just genuinely had fun. And then it was just like, okay, it's been about, you know, 3.5 years, almost 4 years. So where is this relationship going, and where do you see us? And not so much, hey, we need to be married by at least 4 years or within 2 years time, and we need to have kids by this time, or, you know, I'm not doing anything else for you. No, we still do the same exact things in our relationship that we did while we were dating. And that's what makes us like, okay, we can still do this marriage thing because we're still the same people. And as far as, but I've never, you know, threatened to like, oh, I'm gonna stop doing this.
So it was never an ultimatum.
There was I don't think it was an ultimatum at all.
You know, in a divorce, dudes can get fucked. And we know this to be extremely true, especially if they are the breadwinner, especially if there's kids involved. So in my mind, I'm always questioning what is the reason to take something to a next level. When really the next level is something that's defined by the government. Like, why get the government involved, in your opinion, to take it to some next level, which I would argue it's kind of an arbitrary, if you're not religiously involved or focused, it's an arbitrary next level, because at the end of the day, it takes away some of the rights that a man would have if they were together. Okay. I mean, excuse me, if he was not together, right? So he's his own man, he's single, he has his own free will, but at the time that you guys link for the rest of your lives, you start to lose some of that individuality. So thinking towards like the benefits of marriage, like why would someone want to take a relationship that's going all well and good and then go to this next level that takes away some of the rights from a man?
So it's not really taking the rights from a man, it's giving him different additives or to his life that make him complete or secure that she is the one that he goes to, but it's not a quick walk away. It's more of like, once you're married, you have to work this out. Like, when you're in a long-term relationship, you can easily leave. That's almost like I'm buying a house or am I renting? Like, basically, long-term relationship is renting. Like, I can easily, at the end of this year, or I can easily break my lease, but to get out of a mortgage, that's a lot of stuff is invested in that. And I feel the same way about a long-term relationship or a marriage. Is like, you need to make this house work, whether you need to renovate the place, because you can do that, but you can't always do that when you're renting a home. There's so many different restrictions or barriers that, you know, that you can't get over. So I would say the benefits are, it is kids. So when you're taking on a responsibility, you're attaching to that person. And kids are probably the biggest, like the toughest thing as far as divorce, is the effects on kids and stuff. So I would say,
so as far as kids, you know, it's tough, right? Like, I was raised in a household. I was raised in a household, and my parents, you know, split up. And what happened to me is probably different than a lot of people. I ended up going with my pops. And that's probably reasons for a whole nother video. But within that, I still think, so even though that is the situation that happened, and I was able to get raised and relative stability, even though that was my situation. My pops then never chose to get remarried. And so if I see this around me, right, and I see kind of what he was going through in that relationship, and I see kind of outside of that, and I was raised in a much more healthier household when he wasn't married than when he was married. You know what I mean? Like, these things kind of weigh in our minds.
But things are isolated in certain instances because you're mixing two different individuals together, two different personalities, two different lifestyles, and you're making them become one. Me and Destin, when we lived apart, we had two very different lifestyles. I was 15 pounds smaller. But I mean, you know, I was coming and going as I pleased. But then when we moved together, we're like, I have to think about, is he gonna eat, you know, buying groceries for not just me, but buying groceries for someone else. And that's what I like to do. I like to care for him. I like to make sure that he's taken care of, as well as my son. But I think that is more like I'm caring for someone and he can always lean on me and only me. Because if you're in a long-term relationship, it's so easy to step outside of that. In a marriage, you're more so held accountable for that. And then there are tax benefits, whether people, you know, choose to use that or not. Joint account benefits as well. I guess you can do that for a long-term relationship, but it's your mindset too. Of how you look at this, like you're really investing in someone. You're investing into almost a business that you built up, but like it's easy. It's so easy to walk away from something that's just like, oh, I'm just doing this on the side. Then your main job, you like, before you quit that main job, you look at like, is this worth it? Will I have the insurance benefits to back me up if I, you know, quit this and just try to be an entrepreneur, you know?
Well, here, so in my mind, and I like to do analogies like a lot of times on the channel, so work with me for a quick second. I work at a place where at any given time I can leave and work at a new place. By me working at the place that I'm at right now, I'm building certain things on my resume. I'm getting increases to my salaries, my bonuses. But at any time, theoretically, I could hop out and try to get a better position somewhere else with better things that I can put on my resume, increase more salary, higher bonus. If there was a contract put in place that held me to one corporation throughout the lifespan of that life of that corporation, I don't think that I have necessarily the leveraging power to hop in a situation that would be better for me because I only have one more life to live. So I do think that although it feels good that, you know, the movies, our culture, it feels good to be locked. I'm still like, in my mind, I'm still trying to think of like, what are really the benefits, especially after that locking period happens, more specific to the breadwinner and more specific to the man. There's just things that are removed from a individuality perspective that you can't get, you know, just being single.
The thing is that you have, like in the same analogy that you had, that you can just, you know, leave and go to a new company, but you have to start over. You have to meet new people. You have to get readjusted. They got to get to know you. They got to know your work ethic. And that's the same thing when you leave a relationship, is that you have to start over. After you put so much time in it and learning someone and knowing their comings and goings, and they know you perfectly to be their best friend.
Benefits to that,
then it's benefits to sticking, and it's cheaper, you know, the cheaper to keep her for one, and it's benefits to knowing that I can keep building on what I already know than to leave and have to start this all over again. And then I would say my fiance is very strategic. He is very methodical. He does not make decisions very quickly, so he has to think about like his decisions long and hard before he's like, should I make this move? Okay, let's test things out. I can explore, but I'm not about to make a crazy move of stepping out of our relationship and just I want something new, so let's just, you know, let's quit this and I'm gonna move on to somebody else. Let's go on a trip, or let's
fix the situation.
A lot of people don't take regular boyfriend and girlfriends on no like serious trip like Jamaica, out of the country. You're not taking regular people out of the country. And when you're in marriage or engaged, or you know this person is the one, they're going to spend that bread to, you know, to invest in you and to share their lives with you. Because when you go out of a country or go on a cruise, you're like, okay, you're putting so much into that, and you're trying to gain an experience from that. Like from, you know, our trips that we've taken so many trips, and that's when I know, like, I can be with this person for the rest of my life if I can go to some strange land and feel like I'm safe with you. You're not doing that with just any old person, unless, you know, some people do that, like, you know, gold digging honeys and stuff like that.
Not with gold diggers, but like I've done some wild stuff. Like I took a trip to Jamaica with this chick that I met a week beforehand, and it was one of the worst trips that I've ever taken in my life. I don't know what I was thinking. It was a life lesson though. Yeah,
but that's the thing is, you like, why the F did I do that? And why I spent so much money for what?
I did. Yeah, and the thing is that, so it was all inclusive. It was like a week in Jamaica, and by the second day,
you're not invested.
I wanted to throw myself off of the balcony.
Yeah,
it was
but
just like, okay, this was not set up. But for me, I think it was an experiential thing.
Yeah.
I was in my mid-20s. And I just thought it was dope. Like I met someone on a Friday night.
Cabin trip or something.
I met someone on a Friday night, and then like we're like, you know, let's do like a first date in somewhere tropical, like, and you know, I had the money to be able to do it, so that's what I did, and it ended up being a mistake. And so I feel what you said. You got to run the cost-benefit analysis of, okay, if I go into this agreement, this contractual agreement where the government gets involved, and if I want to leave this contract, there's obvious costs. And now all that investment that you put in, all of that is a sunk cost. All of it's null and void.
But nobody ever talks about that. If the child goes with the father, then the woman would have to pay child support. Nobody ever talks about that. It's really whoever's the primary caregiver, is that's who that child goes to, then the other person has to pay child support.
I think it's very rare when it goes to the man.
I think men don't push it though. I've seen some men that actually, one case it's very rare, but men are like, I think the child's supposed to be with the mother. And I don't know if that's like a more traditional mindset that that's how life is supposed to go, but men aren't the most, you know,
pushing for it.
I don't know. They're not an everyday caregiver, in my opinion.
I don't have experience with this, but I think the court system favors the woman. Yeah. Because culturally, in our society, it is kind of understood that women are the nurturers, right?
Absolutely.
But I think from like even like a law perspective, like most judges on average would just award and believe kind of, you know, and this is all anecdotal. Like I hate to keep talking.
I have a child, I would say, and their father is on child support right now, but he's very absent as well. So things still need to be taken care of. So that's something that actually came in handy, but it's not my main source of income by any means. But the father put themselves in that position as well. But when you're with the right person, then that doesn't have, and if you're taking care of your children like they're supposed to be, then you won't have that issue. My sister, she has baby dad that is married, and she never put on child support. Never really feels like she has to, because he's doing what he's supposed to do.
Ashley,
yes,
thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
Last question, did you have fun?
I did have fun.
There it is. All right, well, thank you again for coming through.
Appreciate it.
Listen, questions, comments, concerns, leave it down in the description box. I don't really have to tell you guys that. You already know to do that. Make sure y'all keep on liking. Support. We got to get the content in front of more people, because discussions like this are the ones that we need to have to bubble these things up so we can kind of learn more about how to push our culture forward. All right?
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Listen, you are welcome back anytime.
Anytime?
Anytime.
All right.
All right?
Thanks.
Take care, you two. Oh yeah, I have an outro as well.
I'm not ready for it.
Peace!